Hey y'all, welcome to the 3P Homestead. My name's Stacy, and today we're going to talk a little bit about prepping. We're going to talk about bulk buying, the hows and the whys, and why do it, and what good is it going to do you, right? So a little backstory, my house has always been the house that has been stocked and prepared. So when we lived in our old house, all of my kids' friends would come to our house after school. We were the gathering house. So my pantry was always stocked. I always had some snack foods in the freezer for friends and my kids who would come over. And I always wanted to be that house. I wanted to have a place where people could go and get some food in their bellies. Our table was always open if you wanted to stay for dinner. So when we moved to Texas, now, we are in Hurricane Alley. So we've lost power. We've been kind of homebound for a few days here and there. So it got me thinking that I wanted to make sure that my family had food for whatever the situation may be. I don't want to feel that stress of not being able to feed my family. So there are multiple reasons that someone might want to bulk buy. Again, hurricane, storms, weather, loss of power. Maybe you get snowed in for a few days at a time during the winter. Maybe there's a job loss, and we have all of these other kinds of insurances. Short-term disability for our wages and car insurance and all kinds of things, but we'd never have insurance for no food. So, if there's a job loss or some other kind of income situation, inflation, we're seeing inflation right now where things are costing way more than they used to. So, if things are on sale, it doesn't hurt to buy two. So that's kind of my method. Another, of course, reason would be some sort of society collapse, which we don't always want to talk about, but it's a threat, it's a fear, it could happen. So we want to make sure that we're prepared. And so that's kind of what my preparing P in the 3Ps is all about. So my goal is to have a year's worth of food in my pantries and available to me. We've also got some other supplies that we have a bulk on, paper supplies, of course, toilet paper, paper towels, our toiletries, things like that. But again, those are things that they're a little more expensive anyway. So I'm buying those. If I see them on sale, I'll buy two or three instead of just one. That is an easy method to start stocking up. We're not there yet, but I do want to show you what I've got so far. This again is our pantry office, so I call it the PO. This will be enclosed someday, I hope, in the future. We need to put a door up. I want to put a barn door up, make it look more like a pantry versus a makeshift office. So we're getting there. But today I just kind of want to give you a tour of what we have. Another thing I want to talk about too is if you're going to consider bulk buying, buy what you eat. Don't stock up on 800 pounds of white rice if your family doesn't like or eat white rice. I get that in a emergency situation, you're going to need food that fills the bellies. And I do have white rice, but we are more of pasta people. So I'm going to buy more pasta than I am of rice. So buy what your family eats. At the end, I want to show you a couple of resources that I have to kind of help you with what to buy and how much to buy. But we'll get there. So some categories that you'll need: grains, again, pasta, rice, flour, wheat flour, bread flour, whatever kind of flour you use, cornmeal, things like that. And again, we'll go over this in detail, but the main categories are going to be grains, beans, oils, sweeteners, salt, milk, canned fruits and vegetables, and then your water supply, and then some miscellaneous things like ketchup. So we'll go into all that as we do our tour. So let me show you what I've got so far and some of my methods on how I preserve food and store it. Okay. So down here we have food grade 5-gallon buckets with Gamma lids. Now these lids are amazing. You definitely want to invest in these because they're quick twist off and on. because otherwise if you use these regular lids, which I haven't replaced this one yet, this is my oatmeal, you practically have to have a crowbar to get those off. So definitely recommend getting these. They're a little more expensive. I think they're $12 or $13 versus $3, I think. But in the long run, if you're using your supplies on a regular basis, which is, you know, it could be the goal. Maybe this is the stuff that you rotate through. Maybe you just have a year's worth of food for your family to go through and rotate through. And so we'll talk about that as well. Having a year's supply that you rotate through versus a year's supply of emergency food. Okay. So here I have sugar, flour, oats. I have 2 things of pinto beans and white rice. I think I have 2 white rice. Yeah. So two beans and 2 rice. And then up here in some canisters, I have bulk pancake mix that you get at Costco, some self-raising flour, more beans, a couple things of brown sugar, canning salt, which is different than iodized salt. Can't use iodized salt in canning. And then some of my dry goods are here, some storage stuff. And then here's my part of my pasta. Now again, this isn't enough pasta for a year's worth for my family because this is what we eat more than rice. So I definitely need to get more pasta, probably put those in some 5-gallon buckets as well. Definitely want a lot of salt. It's good for preserving as well as seasoning. And then I have this 1 bag of dry milk. This is would make 20 quarts. We are not big milk drinkers in this family, but we do like occasional cereal. So that's something to consider if you guys drink a lot of milk, ways to do that in case of emergency. Now let's go look at the canned foods I have. Now again, this is nowhere near a year's supply worth of food for my family of 5, but it gets us started, and you've got to start somewhere. And that's what I'm hoping that I'm encouraging you or inspiring you to at least get started and think about some things that you might need. So I've got a thing of lemon juice here. I need to get some more, but that's good for canning. Extra olive oil, some Crisco. Down here I've got more oils. We like to use coconut oil, so we have more coconut oil than we do any kind of other like canola oil or anything like that. We have 2 more of each of those in the working pantry in the kitchen. But we have soups in this container, miscellaneous beans, pizza toppings, water chestnuts for, fried rice and lettuce wraps, things like that. So these are all of our canned foods. This is what we use. This is our working canned food selection. So we go through these things. Manwich was on sale. It was like 4 for $5, so I stocked up on that. Of course, these are terrible, but they're good in an emergency situation. Sometimes the kids like these for after-school snacks. Some vegetables. We've got more vegetables down here. Corn and green beans. We've got some canned meats. Chicken, which we need to stock up on. Some Spam. Chili. More canned meat. This is chicken broth, which is not something that I'm happy about having, but I use it all the time. I want to can my own, so I'm working on getting some more chicken for that. Oh, a random sock. We've got some canned tomatoes there as well, some tomato sauce and tuna in there. This is also part of our sweetener aisle, so you can use raw honey for sweetener. We've got an open one of these in the working pantry. Maple syrup is good for sweetening items. We've got just regular table salt here. Again, not for canning because you can't use iodized for canning. Canned milks. We've got some barbecue sauce and ketchup, extra peanut butter. This was on sale for, I think, $1.25 a piece. So I picked up a few of those barbecue sauces. And then, of course, you want to make sure that, forgive my dirty laundry room. This is real life. In here, we've got our canned foods that we're working on stocking up as well. Salsa, enchilada sauce, a little bit of chicken broth, my one little can of green beans left down there from my farmer's market purchase. So, I want to get this stocked up as well. Again, this is a journey that I'm on, and I'm hoping that I can inspire you to get on as well, just so that you can be prepared for your family. Another thing that is key is water. So there's a bunch of water stored in here as well. You can put flats of the bottled waters under your beds. Finding places to store water is always a pain, but it is you will find places to stick it. Under the bed is good. Anywhere you can put it. I don't recommend in the garage if it's hot, but find places to store water. You need, according to the specialists, you need a gallon of water per day per person in an emergency situation. So let's sit down and talk a little bit more about the resources you might need. All right, so you need to decide what your goal is. Are you going to bulk buy so that you can prepare for an emergency? Or are you going to bulk buy just to have extra food in the house so that in case of, you're stuck inside for a few days for weather, you have food to get you through? My goal is to do both. I want not only a section of kind of an emergency food supply, but I also want just a year's worth of food in the house to circle through. I don't like running out of things when I'm in the middle of a recipe. I want to be stocked. I want to say, oh, someone didn't put this on the list, but that's okay. There's another one in the pantry. So that's my goal. I hate running out of things. Another thing that I found it really useful to have stocked pantries is if, funds are tight and you've been invited to a birthday party or a potluck or a barbecue and you want to take a dish, you're not saying, oh, well, we can't come because I can't make anything. I don't have the funds to go get food to make this recipe. There's always something you can make to take. So that's always a good backup as well. So figure out what your goal is. Is it for a year, 3 months, 6 months? Are you rotating through, or is it just for emergency? So one of the resources I found, it's called the Family Garden Planner. It's by Melissa K. Norris. I got it on Amazon. She's a YouTuber as well. This isn't sponsored or affiliated, but this is something that I like to use because, I just got it, but I'm going to use it. She has charts in here, and it talks about charting out the foods you use for a year and what you're going to need. So again, don't buy something you're not going to eat, just to have something in your pantry. So I don't know if you can hear the dog going in and out. Sorry about that. So get a chart. If it's not one of, a printed one, make one yourself. Figure out kind of what you eat in a week. Figure out what you eat in a season, because, you eat different things in the winter than you do in the summer. Figure out what those are. Make lists, and then figure out how much you need. There's also a spreadsheet that I have found online as a resource that talks about how much food you would need per person for the year. X amount of pounds of grains, however many pounds of sweeteners and things like that. So if you're interested in that, I'll put my email in the description box and you can email me and I will get that over to you as well. So really it's finding out what the needs are of your family. What's your goal? Make a list and just go for it. Just start buying. Don't go crazy. Not all of us can go to Costco once a year and afford a $5,000 trip, but find things that are on sale. When you go to buy salad dressing, buy 2 instead of 1. Just start stocking up the small stuff that you use on a weekly basis, and you'll feel more relaxed, a little more secure in your food storage, that you can prepare for your family, feed your family in an emergency, and go from there. We will talk more about this maybe in the future. I'll do some more bulk buying updates as I get more stuff in the pantries. Maybe show you my renovations to my pantry when I get my barn door and my regular door. So I hope this was inspirational. I hope this helps. Please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I would appreciate that very much. Share with someone who needs some information on bulk buying or just other things that we talk about, plants, gardens, protecting yourself and the ones you love. So I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you next time.